The door to the studio on the outskirts of Glasgow closed softly behind Sam Heughan. The late winter sky was a hazy gray, and a light rain fell like a thin layer of fog over the city. Today was the last meeting of the crew to discuss post-production events after Outlander officially ended. But for Sam, this meeting also had another meaning. He knew he was about to face Caitríona in a way he had never prepared for. For months, he had kept his distance, trying to keep things within safe boundaries. But what no one expected was that the silence would make his emotions stronger, clearer, unable to run away anymore. And today, finally, everything had come to an end. As soon as Sam entered the meeting room, he saw Caitríona sitting at the head of the table. She was wearing a cream-colored sweater, her hair tied back, her deep blue eyes focused on the documents. But as soon as he stepped through the door, she looked up, and her eyes locked with his for a long moment. Not the familiar look, not the warmth that had once comforted him, but a look that was both wary and sad, and waiting for something. Something she couldn't even name. "Sam, you're here," she said softly. Her voice was calm, but Sam could still hear the thin layer of emotion he knew she always tried to hide in public. He nodded slightly, walked over, and sat down in his usual spot next to her. But this time, the distance between the two chairs felt longer, colder. The meeting proceeded with the usual announcements: promotional schedules, fan appreciation events, joint interviews. But then the production manager turned to look at Sam and Caitríona. "We've been contacted by an American director. He wants to cast you two together in his new film, a romantic drama with two characters with the same depth as Jamie and Claire. We need a response this week." The room fell silent. Sam looked up slightly. His heart was beating a little faster. He remembered the last time such an offer had been made, and remembered his decision very clearly. But everyone else in the room did not. Beside him, Caitríona shifted slightly, her eyes widening for a moment. She was clearly unaware of the new offer. "Sam?" The manager looked at him. "What do you think?" The room held its breath. Sam looked down at his clasped hands on the table. A second, 2 seconds, then he said, "I am not sure." The answer startled Caitríona. Over the years, Sam had always been the one to say yes first. He had always been willing to cooperate with her. He had always been the one to go all the way as long as she nodded. But today, his answer was different. Her eyes blinked slightly, revealing confusion mixed with surprise. When most of the people had left, Sam stood up and turned to her, whispering, "Caitríona, can you stay for a moment? I need to talk to you." She paused. Then she nodded. The door to the conference room closed, leaving the two of them in a long silence. Sam leaned against the table, while Caitríona stood a few meters away, her hands clasped together, a gesture he only saw when she was nervous. "I didn't expect to be this hard to talk about," Sam began. She blinked, listening. For almost a year, they had tried to keep their distance. Sam was afraid of their emotions getting out of control. She wanted to protect her family. Both wanted to keep the special friendship that had sustained them for a decade. But that distance now became a pain. When they asked about the new movie, Sam said slowly, "The first thing I thought about wasn't the character. It wasn't the script. I was afraid that if we stood next to each other every day, I wouldn't be able to keep hiding what I felt." Caitríona froze. A deep breath escaped her chest. She hadn't expected it. Never had she expected it. "Sam, what are you talking about?" she asked, her voice quieter than usual. "I think you know," Sam said. He took a step closer, but kept a safe distance, a conscious distance he had learned to respect. "Caitríona," he said, his voice low and trembling slightly. "I try to treat you like a colleague. Try to treat you like a friend. Try to ignore any feelings beyond that. But I can't anymore." She froze. Not a sound came out. Only the truth unfolded, bit by bit. "I thought if I kept my distance, things would calm down. But the more I avoided you, the more I missed you. The more I realized how important your presence was to me." Her eyes widened. Pure shock. She had thought Sam kept his distance because of work pressure. She had believed he was pulling back because he wanted her to settle down with her own life. But she had never thought of this. "Sam," her voice cracked. "You shouldn't have said that to me." I know, he replied softly, but I've lived with it for years. Pretending nothing is something I can't do anymore. She turned her face away, trying to hide her eyes that were shining with so much emotion. In her mind, the years came rushing back. The times Sam shielded her during dangerous scenes. The times she saw him quietly observing, as if she was even a little unwell, he would be the first to approach. The times he gave her a cup of hot tea when she was shivering with cold. The nights they drank with the whole crew, he was always the one to watch over her, so she wouldn't get too drunk. And the love scenes they had acted out together, scenes that sometimes even she herself wasn't sure which were acting and which were real. She always thought Sam saw her as the most important colleague in his life. But it turned out, it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that. Sam, she tried to speak, but her voice was choked. I can't say things like that. I know. I knew you would react like that, he sighed. And I didn't expect anything. Didn't ask for anything. Didn't want to make you the one who had to make a difficult choice. Caitríona frowned, her deep eyes wavering. So, why did you say it? Sam looked at her. A look so genuine, so gentle, yet so intense that it made her heart flutter. Because I didn't want you to think you didn't matter. Because I didn't want you to leave without knowing that you changed my life. And because I wanted to be honest, at least once. She fell silent. Her heart was pounding. A layer of complicated emotions welled up. She hadn't expected it. She had never expected that Sam, the man who was always strong, confident, and reserved, would have such a big worry in his heart. And she had never expected that she would be at the center of it. She turned to look at him. Sam, she said, her voice softening, you're not the only one who feels something. He froze. She took a deep breath and continued. Over the years, even though I never said it, I know there were moments when we weren't Jamie and Claire anymore. The words made Sam's heart stop for a moment. Caitríona continued. But I can't cross that line. And you know why. Sam nodded, his eyes still on her. I know, he said. And I never wanted you to do anything risky or hurt anyone. She pursed her lips, her eyes sparkling. But you have to understand, when you said these things, I really didn't know what to do. I didn't know how deeply you felt. Sam replied softly. It's okay. You don't have to do anything. But his eyes said something else. He just needed her to know. Caitríona took a step closer to him. The distance narrowed. The atmosphere thickened. Sam, she said softly, even though I can't respond the way you want, that doesn't mean I'm cold or insensitive. I appreciate you more than you think.